Welcome back to the tech space, and in this tutorial we're going to be going over function parameters. So to do that, we're going to go over a simple function, and we're just going to say function x, and what function x is going to have, as I just said, it's going to have a set of parameters. Function, okay, we'll say this. We'll say math, or math operators. And inside here, we're going to say we want a variable x and a variable y. And we just want to write out x plus y. And we'll just call this function addition. So we document write it, and we say, okay, we're gonna call our function, and everything's right. Okay, we'll save it, and should run on the screen, right? Well, no, that's not what's gonna happen. Basically, what you need to do to make this work is add in when you call the function, you have to add the parameters in here. So remember when you built the array list and it had, the elements in order from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That's how a parameter list works. So when you call the function, you give the parameters their values. So when I'm calling the function right here, I can just say 60 and 120, and it's assigning 60 to variable x, the first one, and 120 to variable y. The same thing, I could go on and on with variable z, but first we'll run this one. So variable x plus y, and then when we call it, we set x equal to 60 and y equal to 120, and then we save it and run it on the screen. And it didn't work. So the reason that didn't work is we can just say, okay, instead of saying variable, we just have two parameters, and we already know the parameters, so we don't really need to say, okay, we're not declaring a variable. In JavaScript, you have to declare the variable. Say if we had x set to something, or set to 60 up here, then we'd say var, but when we're just doing parameters, we don't have to put var. We just put the name of the variable because it already assumes that we want a variable in that function. So we're done running that. We have document write. It's just going to write out x plus y, and then we're passing in the values through this function when we call it. So we'll save it again and run it, and you can see we get 180. So again, in JavaScript, we do not need to say variable x and variable y. It already assumes that you're creating variables as parameters. In other programming languages, it's a little different, but you don't have to worry about that. We just have two parameters, x and y, and we're adding them together. Now, we could also create a function called, multiplication, and function called subtraction, and then a function called division. And what we want to do is throw different values in here. So since we used x and y already, we can't use x and y again. We can use x1 and y1, and then do the same thing. Just document write this out on the screen, but using the correct operand, and changing the variables. So we have x1, y1, then we go down to subtraction, paste it, x2, y2, parameters are x2, y2, and then We have x3, y3, parameters x3, y3. And basically we just need to change the operators now, subtraction, and there we go. So now when we call addition, we get this out on the screen. And before we write that, we'll make it look a little bit nicer. So addition, then run. We'll go here and do the same thing. Multiplication, and then run it. Just so it looks a little bit nicer and it's a little bit easier to see. So and then what is the last one is division, and then we just say give this some room, and that's basically what we're gonna want to do. But when we run this, let's see, we don't get anything. So that's because when you create these things, these strings, and you put them as parameters, you can't just declare them straight as a string. You have to set them equal to a variable, and you don't want to pass it in like that as a parameter. So basically, when we do this, we're going to have a parameter set to just how it was earlier. Go ahead and just delete this out of here. And then before this, we have to write another document right. And then inside there, write the answer. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to go through here. I just wanted to show you guys that strings can't be called into your functions directly. They have to be declared as variables or set as one of the parameters of that function. So we're going to go ahead and run every single one of these. Subtraction. And then we'll just do 50, 30. And we'll run them at separate times. So 50, 30. We get 20. And then it runs. So we could go through all of these and it'd run just fine, but there's no real reason to go through and just call these functions in just because you already know how they're going to run. If you divide 9 and 3, because you're passing those into the function with those parameters, so in the division function, x3 becomes 9, y3 becomes 3, and we're just going to see what our answer is. 3. So 9 divided by 3, of course, is 3, and that's basically how you use multiple functions with parameters in each function and get results back from them. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section below, and I will try to get back to you and help you out. If not, please like the video, subscribe, check out the rest of my videos and the rest of this series. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.